Hi everybody. We are on to our last card in the occasions class that should have happened on Martin Luther King's birthday that Monday, and I was sick starting that Sunday. So this is our last card. We're using Trusty tools. This is a stamp set and die set that is available in the mini catalog right now. It is so cute. If you do cards for crafty people who construction, furniture, redo. This is a cute kit because it's got a paintbrush and you can add the color of paint that you want. It's got a measuring tape, nuts and bolts, a pencil over here. So it's got some really cute stamps, and the dies are awesome too. It does not cut every tool that you see on the designer series paper. The designer series paper is free in the Celebration brochure with a $50 order. I was going to look, I'm trying to log in just really quickly to see if this paper is still in stock. I forgot to check. I was going to check between videos, and I failed to do that. So I'm going to check real quick on my iPad while we're getting started here. It'll just take me a second. Now, on this paper, they have like 4 sheets of tools, and they're different colors. Like here you have, let me see. This is actually, I think, 2 packs put together. Like you have some screwdrivers with yellow handles, and then you have some with red handles, I think, on the other sheets. I tried to make all of the tools the same colors that we used on our card. So, I ended up opening, I think, 2 full packs to be able to get everything that we needed for all of the card kits. I'm looking down the thing here. The softly stippled designer paper that is in the Celebration is on back order to be back February 5th, so start of next week. Heartfelt Hexagon Punch, it will not be in stock until April 22nd. I hate that because I love that one. There's several bundles and suites that are not available. Perennial Lavender Suite, which that's been very popular, that is not available. No, that's on low inventory, so that is still available. Thoughtful Expressions, the one that I showed you that had the scalloped tags, all the different sizes, and then the other tags that we used on our Celebrate card, those that bundle is still available. I'm basically looking for things that are in that little brochure. Winter Meadow designer papers on short supply. Oh, I love that paper. I had to get an extra one to keep. It looks like right this moment it is still available, so that is shocking because it's February 1st. Some of these things usually sell out by February 1st. But anyway, this is the paper, and it's free for the $50 order. And you can see you even get the little pegboard piece that it cuts out. That is cool. Some handles. These are the snips I don't actually know what that piece is. This looks like part of the drill, or you could probably pretend it was a key. Hammerhead. This is a tag using kind of the same thought process here of the pegboard. These are handles for the snips. And then you've got your pencil, measuring tape, wrench, nuts and bolts, which you have some of those in your kit, a hammer, another wrench. I don't know what you call this. I think it's one of those tapes that you fold up. Folding tape. This is part of the wrench or impact, not wrench, the drill, part of the drill, I think. A paintbrush, and then, trying to think what they call this. Can't remember what they call that wrench, but anyway, it's in there. So let's get to our card. We're also using Charming Sentiments. We're using Wishing You the happiest of birthdays. And it cuts out, like I said, these greetings all cut out with a die. So we're going to cut that out and put it on the middle and the inside. And we're using Biggest Wish, happy, and then the cursive birthday to do the front. So let's put these aside for a second. And one other thing I wanted to say is I have written instructions for, and I don't understand why my printer, that's not blue, it's green, it's soft succulent. That is not blue, it's white. So my color laser is not printing the correct colors very well. But anyway, each card has instructions, and you will get a set of this with your card kit. In your kit, you will have, and I will wait to show you the finished card. I think it's so cute. Of course, you have your envelope and your plastic dust cover, I guess. I'm not really sure what the purpose of those is. In your little Post-it note, you have, we didn't put any jewels, but we did add some, which I need to add those to your kit. In fact, some cork. They have cork rounds, which I thought these were really cool. Those are cork. So I'm gonna add some of those to your kit. Silver nuts and bolts. And I cut them out of silver foil. I don't know if you can see the shine. But you'll have 6 of those in your, you can just put randomly, you can put them on the front, you can put them on the inside. Doesn't matter to me where you put them. And then you'll have a partial saw. You don't need the whole thing because part of it will be covered up. So this is something you will have to fussy cut. When you fussy cut, you move the paper as you cut, not moving, moving your scissors. You move the paper. And when you go around these, you just curve around those. I mean, you can go back and trim, if you need to, and you don't cut out the middle, just trim around here. So you'll have a saw blade, hammer that's already been cut out for you. It was cut out with the dies. You have a saw, which you will have to cut out. It is fairly easy to cut out. I was going to be so slick. I ran out of saws, and I had a handle, and I had a blade that were separated, like, going off the end of the paper. So I cut out the saw top and cut out this part. Well, it didn't work because this was left-handed or right-handed. So I couldn't make that work. I just ended up throwing it away. And then you're going to get a wrench and you're going to get a pencil. You're going to get some twine, which you're just gonna, what I did was I pulled it all the way out to its full length, folded it in half, kind of tied a knot in the, like in the middle, like tied it together so I had some sticking out of the top, and then I just put some kind of tape down and slapped my the front on it so that it just sticks out. And then this is cut out for the inside, wishing you the happiest of birthdays. You have this tag which goes on the front. You will have to fussy cut this. This is easy, and then just move your paper as you're cutting, and this cuts out very easy. You have a piece of torn Lost Lagoon, which I'm going to show you how to do. You have a piece of cut designer paper. You can also take, I did this with water. I just wet along a line and then tore, and it tore really easy. You can do this with this too. The sample that I saw did have this edge torn too, but I did not do that. There's some more of the tools. And then this is your layer that you're going to put all this on. Now, before we adhere anything to our card, we're going to splatter this with ink. One way to do this is to take your markers, and I will show you. We're going to use a couple of colors. Let me put, I don't know where my chamois went, so I'm not going to do it on here. I need a piece of paper. Let me get a piece out of the printer. Don't want anything, I don't want everything splattered, so I'm going to move this stuff out of the way. Okay, I'm going to take, and I'm really just wanting to go, let me show you how far this is going to go. This is going to go, you know, what would be almost a quarter over here. And that's going to, so it's going to be like, kind of like that. So it's not a lot that you have to splatter, and you don't have to splatter it if you don't want to. But you just take your marker at the cap and you flick. Now, if I wanted larger splats, I could use some re-inker, one of the little bottles of re-inker, and pick some up with my water tool and, you know, kind of like splat it like that. And then you can also, if you want like a little bit bigger, you can just add some with your marker. Kind of looks like paint splatters. Okay, so I think I just splattered that for someone. I think that was a kit. Well, you have a pre-splattered piece of cardstock. And like I said, you can rip this edge too if you wanted to. Put this back in. Actually, I'll replace this with mine, and then that way. This is what the card looks like. I just think it's adorable. I don't even know. 1, 2. That's somebody's kit. Oh, here it is. I was like, where's the rest of it? Okay, let me get this all put back together. And I'm going to show you how to tear that paper. Okay, the way that I did this was I took, make sure this is the right, oh, that's too long. Let me trim this up a little bit. Pretty sure it needs to be, what is this? I think it needs to be 2 inches. I don't think this is wide enough. Nope, I think this is wide. Oh, I think this is fine. Okay, it needs to be, this is 5 1/4. So this needs to be, I think 5 1/4. Oh, it is 5 1/4. Well, why did it look weird? Maybe it was this. Does it need to be smaller or bigger? Oh, this is, okay, that's, I was thinking the card base. That's not the card base. Okay, so this is okay. So I'm going to take some water. Where's my water painter? I'm going to take some water. And I'm just going to start about here and come down at an angle. Does not have to be perfect. Just want to wet that a little bit. And I'm going to let that sit for just a few seconds. While I get my stuff here. And then I'm going to tear this. I'm going to tear some from the front, some from the back. And I end up with this piece of Lost Lagoon that's got the torn edge, ripped edge. And then I'm going to replace this in someone's kit with mine. Card base. I'm going to set it aside for now. And we already tore that. This is for our greeting. Here's our tools. I do have to fussy cut this really quickly and the saw blade. So we'll do that real quick. Like I said, this one's really easy. It's pretty much I should put my glasses on. I hate having to wear reading glasses. And my eyes have actually gotten better over the years, the doctor said. I have one eye that's close and one eye that's distance, and no, that was not LASIK surgery that did it. That's just the way they are naturally. So I was never a candidate for LASIK surgery because he said basically you would be just tweaking what you already have. Okay, so I'm just going to cut around like this. Just moving my paper. This one's the easiest. The saw is a little bit more time consuming, but, or the saw blade, but this saw is really pretty fast. Okay, there's our saw. And then I have already cut out my saw blade, so we didn't have to take the time to do that. And then here are my tools. And we're going to put our card together. Let me get this out of the way. And if you don't have those, you know, markers and ink colors, you could use black or, you know, another color, brown. Okay, first we're going to put, we want this to fit, you know, pretty much all the way across, except for like, you know, our little 1/4 inch here. So we're going to try to position this where, you know, so we know where to put this. Because if we put this all the way to the edge, then we end up with a little bit more than I wanted to show here. And we don't want to move it too far over because then our strip might not be wide enough. So we're going to try to kind of see, okay, so we're good if we come to here about there. Leave a little bit of an edge there. We're good. Okay. So let me put this piece on. And it appears that this piece is a tiny bit longer. So we'll put everything on and then we'll just snip it off with our scissors. But I don't know if this piece is also too, yeah, that's a little bit too long too. So we'll just snip them both off together. I won't put glue right at the very top so that just want a little bit of that border. A little bit of my border showing. And I probably could go all the way to the end on it. I mean, all the way to the edge. And I'm just going to turn this over and trim this. I had these scissors made by a stamper who has like a laser and stuff, and she put my name on them. But I noticed at some point the tip of my scissors have broken off. Little bitty tip broke off. Frustrating. And I don't remember what her name was to order a new pair. Okay, so we're going to put our pieces on. like I said, we don't have to worry about not having a full blade because it's going to be covered up. We're going to put that about there. We're going to take our, let's see, I did not have another one of these wrenches, so I used this one for this, and that will cover up that little edge there of the saw. This saw will go about here. The hammer about here, and I think I did pop up, I think I popped up the saw and the wrench and then just the head of the hammer and glued the bottom of the hammer down. And there are 2 hammers in that set. This is a claw hammer. That's a ball peen hammer that I used on that one because I didn't want to open another stack of paper. And then this is just going to go over here on the side. My ribbon I just tied like this. So that and if I wanted it kind of curly, you can wrap it around a pencil and kind of leave it for a little bit. But I just wanted it kind of, you know, haphazard, kind of like that. My pencil, I think, went over the top of part of it, and then my saw went over part of it, and then this greeting is going to cover the knot. And so let's stamp our greeting, our sentiment, before I glue everything on. These are my nuts and bolts. Like I said, we can add some to the front. Now, I did have to get, okay, that's birthday. Where is happy? Okay, here's happy. If I had it lined up like this. I had to order a new Pretty Peacock ink pad, actually. And I don't, let me look in this box. I don't think it has come yet. I just got a small order, but no, it's not. I think that's in the next order that's coming. And I didn't even look to see when it's supposed to be here. But anyway, I was having some trouble with my Pretty Peacock ink pad, and so let's see if we can, I can't even find it. Where is it? I laid all my ink pads out, and oops, here it is. And I need espresso brown. I wonder, I could use Lost Lagoon, but I really like the darker ink. It's I don't know what's, this is an old, okay, Pretty Peacock was one of those colors they did as a those temporary colors, like they come in for 2 years at a time, and it was one of those, and it was one of the first year I think that I was doing Stampin' Up, maybe the second year. Pretty Peacock was one of the colors. Well, they brought it back this past year, so this is an old old ink pad from probably 5 years ago. And I noticed with this, it's pulling up like little pieces, like it's sticking to that photopolymer. So let's see if we can get a good image or not. I was struggling and I was getting really aggravated with it. So I just went online and ordered a new one, but let's see if we can. And I was getting these little specks. I don't know if you can see that. There's these little specks. I think you can see. Since I'm not doing this live, I don't have anything to look at to see what you're seeing or not seeing. See, it's getting these little weird, see, look, you see that? Little spots. Those are like coming off on my stamp. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's try that. With solid stamps, I mean, I just really like to use the Stamparatus. They have other platforms now. Like there's, I don't know if Tim Holtz took his off the market because, can't think of the name of that company. I thought it was Pretty in Pink or something like that, that sued everybody because they said that that was their design. And it affected several people who had, okay, that's pretty good. And I'm going to leave it at that and stop fighting with this ink pad. And I can't wait to get my other one. Okay, and then we're going to use, there's my chamois. I'm going to wipe this off. This is dark ink and I will have it all over everything. Okay. And then we're going to use this espresso to add the birthday part. Let me see if I have this lined up correctly. Yep. And I hope you can see. And it really helps if you put a stamp pad underneath there when you're inking that up. But anyway, as I was saying, they have one they call a Misty, and I don't know if that's the original or not. I don't know where the original came from. I just know it was by a company. I think it was called Pretty in Pink, something like that. But, so there are other platforms out there, just not the Stamparatus. Now, you can buy it on some of the Facebook buy-sell groups. And most of the people are selling it for more than what they paid for it. I'm pretty sure it sold for around $60 when it sold originally. And I've seen them anywhere from double that, 120, you know, down to what they originally paid for it. So I've seen everything. But it's one of the things in our stamp resale groups that I've noticed that we have the most trouble with scammers. I'm a moderator on the one called Stampin' Stuffs for Sale group. And we've had 2 different scammers for Stamparatus, and they were pretending to sell the Stamparatus. Someone recognized the picture they were using and said they had tried to order from them, and they also wanted them to pay by Venmo, Cash App, anything except for PayPal. We only use PayPal invoice, and they're not allowed to use anything else. So we're going to fussy cut this. So that person, I think she got one lady for like $300 because she sent her private information, you know, like her zip code and her email so the lady could invoice her. Well, after she did that, the lady said, oh, I also have this and this and this and this and this for sale. Would you be interested? And she made it like, you know, too good of a, too good to be true prices. And the lady fell for it. And so you just turn your paper. And this absolutely does not have to be perfect. You just add a few humps here and here. But anyway, the start of that scammer was selling the Stamparatus. So be very careful, I will say, if you're buying stuff online in some of the sale groups that, you know, if you're buying local, I mean, you can meet at the police station or whatever. But if you are trying to buy online, I mean, you don't know who those people are. You don't know if they're legit or not. I mean, I have proved my reputation because I have probably mailed over 200 packages in the past couple of 3 years, I guess. And if you ever do have to mail stuff, try using Pirate Ship. It is a discounted postage on packages. And I mean, some of them are like up to 65% savings. So you can, you know, sell your stuff, your retired stuff, fairly reasonable. And the people don't, you know, have to pay an arm and a leg of their purchase on postage. Okay, now we're going to put this together. See, that did not take very long. Okay, first thing we're going to put down is our saw, and I'm going to glue it down. And we'll put it about here. Okay, and then our wrench. I know what this wrench is. I've got it on the tip of my tongue. I just can't think what it is. Actually, I think I want to pop up just this top, the head part of the wrench. Find a tiny... I'll put one there and one here. And then the handles I can glue down. This is probably the first video I've done that I have not had my nails done. I was sick and had to cancel my appointment during that 2 weeks, so by that time all of the, I use the dip because it's the only thing that keeps my nails from breaking. Had already popped off and or broke my nails, so they're plain. They look terrible. It's got ink on it. Okay, now we're going to put our the big saw, and I think we'll use some dimensionals on the handle. The one thing with dimensionals, you kind of have to be a little bit careful because you don't want your stuff to stick up too much so that you don't have to pay extra postage for stuff. Now, before I put the saw down, I've got to get my ribbon anchored. Let's see. I'm going to use a glue dot that I have wadded up into a little line under this knot part. And I'm going to put that about here. And then as long as I have it anchored, you know, here, like my saw is going to help part of it, like so. It's anchored right there. My pencil will come in about like that, and I'm just going to glue it down because it is, I mean, I probably could put a strip of, come on, strip of dimensional under it, but I'm not going to. So we're going to put it about here. And then our hammer is going to get dimensionals just on the kind of the outside of the head, because we don't want it to be above the saw. We're going to kind of put it like that. And this part of the hammer will have some glue on it, and the handle will have glue on it. So by putting my dimensional on the end over here, it kind of puts these on the same level. Okay, and then the last thing to add is our greeting. What did I do with it? Is it this? Yep. And we'll pop it up on dimensionals too. I'm going to use big ones for it. And I'll use a little one over here. And a little one over here. And one of these corner pieces here. And that's going to go right here. It's going to cover up where our saw did not completely, you know, we didn't have a full saw. And you cannot see that that's not a full saw here. Okay, now we're going to add a few of the, get these little, otherwise I have them stuck to me. We're going to put a few of the little cork embellishments on. We're going to use a big one down here. and a couple of the smaller ones up here. I have to remember to add those to your kit, because I did not have those in there. I decided those at the last minute. Okay, so this is going to go on our card base, and we can go ahead and put this on, because I will show you why. Let's burnish this real quick. Where's my bone folder? And if you were making this for, and I have got my happy birthday, I think crooked, but it's going to stay because I want to take this dimensional off though. I don't want it to be double high, and I have one under the saw already, so I think I'm gonna take that off. I don't want it to stick up too high. Yeah, this could be a tiny bit straighter, but it's gonna stay like it is. Okay, the next thing you have is you have a strip like this that we stamped and cut out of with the Charming Sentiments, and it's gonna go here. Tried this in brown, thinking brown would be good because it would look kind of like, you know, it would bring the brown, like the handles of the hammer and the saw and stuff. Didn't like it. Tried doing a mixture, kind of brown and peacock. Didn't like that either. I really dislike the peacock. Okay. Now we have some screws or bolts, and there's two different kind of bolts. There's those that have the little star in the middle, and you can just put these wherever you want. I'm gonna put them, I think you have 6 of them in your kit, so I think I might put one here, and maybe a screw or whatever you want to call it, bolt, screw, whatever, there next to it. And maybe one up here, or do I want to put it, I think I want to keep it down here in this corner. And you better watch, because that's got that hole in the middle, and you'll need a teeny, this would be one that you would maybe want to put on with a pen. And then we could go back and add some to the front. add one here. And one bolt or washer. I don't know. I think it's a bolt though. This might be a washer with a little square thing out of the middle of it. And then that might be a bolt. I don't know. And then I might put the little square one maybe over here. And get it turned over here. There. I think that's awfully cute. Oops. This is the glue lid, not the other thing. So that is the last of our 5 cards in your kit this time. And I will be uploading this to our group today and tomorrow. Be out of town this weekend with cheer stuff, so I wanted to get these all done and hopefully to you before the weekend. And like I said, I did not want to post these until videos until you were in the process of getting your kits. So I don't know where a couple of you live, so I may have you meet me. I will text you that information that you can pick them up at the gym. I'll be there tonight dropping off Elizabeth. And otherwise, if you would like me to mail it, I can mail your kit for $3. Just let me know, and I will get these in the mail right away. In fact, I will probably text you and ask you if anyone wants it mailed. And if you do, I will try to get it in the mail today. I will give you my Venmo that you can Venmo me your $25 for class. And I'm looking at the next class as being in February. I was going to look on my phone, and of course my phone is videoing, so that's not going to work. Where's my calendar on my iPad here? I was thinking February, maybe February 19th. I know that is a state holiday. And I don't remember if it's the 12th is the other day. That's a state holiday. I don't know if everybody's off that same day either. So I will put up a poll on the group today, and please take a moment to vote and let me know. And I need to know what kind of cards you want to make the next time. Do you still want to stay with the all occasion? You know, a couple birthday cards, maybe a couple kid birthday cards? Or do you want Mother's Day, Father's Day, baby shower, new baby, thank you? I did have a request for a thinking of you, kind of like a sympathy card for someone who lost their pet. And so I will be trying to come up with some cards for that. And if you think of anything else that you would like me to design something for, just let me know. But I appreciate all of you, and I am, like I said, so sorry that we didn't get to have this in person. But that was a wicked illness. I hardly got out of bed for a week, and I still have, like, you know, congestion in my throat, it sounds like. All right, everybody. This is the last video, and I'm going to say goodbye, and then I will start working on new stuff. Probably next week, since we will be in Hot Springs, Arkansas this weekend for cheer, and that's a 6.5-hour drive. So this was fun, doing the stamps and the videos, or the cards and the videos. A little different than I normally do, but I will say goodbye now, and I'm glad we're seeing the sun for a change. Bye, guys.